at it.
There's a brand that is like hospital quality air, right? Like I think it uses these type of filters, or am I wrong?
Which, go a little deeper.
You know what, honestly, I don't even remember the name of the machine. But it was like a really high end, and it said hospital quality air, and I remember seeing like a little red cross.
Yeah, was it a standalone, like
Yeah,
like
yeah.
an R2D2 type of thing?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the
Is
same
that something
company.
you guys produce, or
That's something they produce.
but you guys sell the filters, or those
Yeah.
also their own filters?
So what happens is, there's a couple ways to filter out air,
Mhm.
and one of them is centralized,
Okay,
and
right.
then you have rooms like this that might not have a
Mhm.
heating and air conditioning unit or centralized heat, so they would put a standalone room unit. As an example, my wife was a little under the weather. She felt something coming.
Mhm.
So I have one of those standalone room units.
Mhm.
I brought it into our room. I put it on, fan speed 1 and just
Yeah.
let it sit there. It
Right.
was on her side. Had a little bit of a white noise thing as well.
Right.
And by no means is that going to cure the flu. There no means, but all it's
No.
going to do is it's going to reduce the amount of stuff that's in the air. And if you have viruses that are in the air, it's going to reduce them because they're going to get trapped by particulates or
Yeah.
by the filtration, right? So the same type of thing.
Right.
Difference between that, has a motor on the bottom, has a pre-filter, you got the pre-filter, then a motor, right? And then it has a VOC, a B5 filter that has activated carbon and impregnated alumina in it. And then on top of that has one of these filters, but it's a cube. So it's a lot of stuff going on there. So, you guys ever heard of the term activated carbon, Anthony?
No, not offhand.
Think about it. Water, right?
Mhm.
Activated carbon. But do you know what activated carbon means? How do they activate it?
With the wind blowing through?
Well, weirdly, no. So you can activate carbon through extreme heat, 1500, 3000 degrees. And what that does is that it makes the carbon become like a porous type thing. Good thing about it is that it attracts VOCs, odors, things of that nature. Bad thing about it is it has a shelf life. Once the air hits it, like opening up coffee and like, and it opens up, when the air hits it, the shelf life goes down dramatically.
Or
So
wine.
you get, huh?
Or wine.
Yeah, wine's a better example,
Oh, nice.
right? So,
You better drink that bottle.
right.
Oh.
Or wait about an hour, then drink the bottle. Depends on what
Yeah.
kind of wine you're drinking, right? So you could buy a filter that has activated carbon in it off the shelf.
But when you turn it on the first time,
No, if it's not encased in something, then you're
Oh.
buying
a used.
a piece of charcoal.
Oh.
Think about it in that regard, right?
So you want to find them that are not activated carbon?
You want to find them that are sealed.
Sealed.
Yeah, you want to be sealed.
Sealed.
Kind of like in a.
Absolutely.
Oh.
So kind of like your wine. Once that happens, air gets in there, right? And you want a little bit of air in your wine. Sounds like you know a little bit of wine about whatever. You want a little air in your wine, but same thing. You don't want to leave that top off. Put it in your fridge, or come back 3 days later. That wine's gonna be past its point, right?
Oh.
So long story short, that's when you hear the word activated carbon. That's
Now
what
I
that
know.
means, right?
That's good to know.
Activated carbon. Once the shelf life is over, it becomes what?
Juice.
It becomes worthless. It becomes an inhibitor for the airflow. So once the activated carbon is sealed up, now
It's not porous anymore.
we're higher pressure, right? So once the activated carbon, so that's why, bless you, a lot of the activated carbon filters say they need to be changed periodically. So if someone says I have an activated carbon filter that will last for a year, be a little bit weary about it. So if you guys, what I'm going to do right now is just talk a little bit about filtration, going over, what do you do? What's your role here?
Plumbing.
Okay. Well, same thing on the water side. You guys do water testing and so on and so forth, right? Same thing. And you have a solution, reverse osmosis. How many different solutions would you have for plumbing?
I mean, there's a million. I mean, I only like to use a few, handful of stuff.
What's the ones you like to use?
I like a whole house filtrations to Halo.
I've heard good things.
If it's underneath the sink, what's that one? I forget the name of it. It's a BP 5000 or whatever. Because it takes a lot of the chlorine out.
It's
So
a
for
it's a
drinking.
cartridge you replace?
Yeah, it just goes underneath the sink.
Okay. So same type of thing as
It's like a 5-step.
when we're talking about air conditioning and you're talking about water, they do go hand in hand, right? Because you ever been next to a water heater that has a furnace right next to it, right? And vice versa, right? So you guys can, in that regard, set people up, because if you're sitting there and you're like, you have this beat to, you know what, water heater, and you look around and there's a beat to crap furnace, you can, you know, tee up your air conditioning guy and say, hey, you might want to come out here, or talk to the homeowner and say, I might have our guys come out here, we do air conditioning as well, I didn't know if you know that or not. And vice versa, if you're sitting next to a piece of air conditioning, I would always look at the what do you call it?
Water heater?
The water heater, the born on date or the manufacturer serial number. And then ask them when was the last time they had their anode rod checked. And they'd be like, what's an anode rod? And I'm like, well, inside the furnace, or inside the water heater, there's this lined, and tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a plumber.
No, you're right.
But that it's lined, and if we don't, an anode rod protects the inside lining of that water heater. And if that anode rod dissolves, there's nothing protecting your water heater, am I correct?
Correct, just like a ship.
How often should you have it checked? How often would you have it checked?
You can check it every time you go to a water heater, but you should have it checked at least.
If I'm a homeowner.
Yeah, you should have it checked once a year,
So
especially if it gets up in this age.
So that particular client, you can set Anthony up and say to the homeowner, we can get you as part of your, I don't know how your maintenance agreements work, but we should have, you know, Anthony come out or another plumber and just check your anode rod for you. And I've seen guys pull out anode rods
There's nothing left.
that there's absolutely nothing left of it. And they're like, whoa. And they're like, okay, I've never had it checked, I've never done it. My water heater's been fine for 30 years, right? And you're gonna have that.
Yeah.
You'll get lucky. But if a water heater breaks, it's caused catastrophic damage, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Catastrophic, depending on where it is in the house too,
Yeah.
right? Just one of those things. It's preventive maintenance is always better than repair, right? Okay.
People don't like that.
And you are in the back?
Guillermo.
Guillermo, what do you do?
I'm HVAC plumber.
He's on both. Depends on what day of the week it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, what do you prefer?
As of now, honestly, plumbing. That's all I've been doing lately.
All right, so well, I'm gonna kind of go off of this together, and like I said, I'm just kind of filling some time because I was gonna do something else, but we're kind of just hanging out. So you test for water how?
You can do it by smell. Turn on the hot water. I mean, you can smell the chlorine. That's the easy, quick way. I mean, if you got the tester, I mean, you can do the whole, you know, put the drops in and then have it change colors or whatever and do the tablets. Or you can just tell them to stick your hand in it for 5 seconds, pull it out, and then you'll see all the chlorine dissipate. There won't be no more chlorine because it absorbs in your skin. But that's a quick little lab test for the clients, which is, you know, gets them involved and stuff.
Okay, so what did you just say?
Hmm?
The last part of that whole sentence.
Yeah, you get the customers involved.
Involvement, right? So I live in Brea. Everybody knows where Brea is?
I live in Anaheim, yep.
Okay, so I turn on my wife. I rent a house off of Imperial Highway and the 57 freeway,
Okay.
right? We've been there since June, and every time I go into my bathroom, it's a dual sink. I turn on the hot water, or yeah, the left-hand side's hot water. I have a weird kind of a pungent smell, but only lasts for about 15 seconds. What is that?
It could be coming from the water heater.
Like the stuff between the water heater before it gets.
No, so sometimes that might be the anarod. That might be the
So that
anarod.
smell, why did it dissipate?
I don't know I'm not sure. But that pungent smell, it's either going to be coming from the sewer or it's going to be coming from the water heater. And a lot of times it's when the anarod has a chemical reaction with the water, so the water elements inside the existing water, sometimes they do a chemical reaction.
Okay.
I've been doing plumbing for 8 years. I've only came across one time, and that was last year, that you smell like rotten eggs.
Okay.
And I changed out the antarods to magnesium, and it still didn't. The smell would still be there. I poured baking soda in the water heater because it's a home remedy. It worked for a couple of days. The smell came back. So why it happens and what it really does, I don't think anybody really knows. I don't think it happens often. So honestly, I think it's something that they put into the water depending on what city you live in.
Okay.
And it might be something that they don't use in other cities and just the chemical reactions over time.
And I'm smelling it in one city, but I might not smell it in your city.
Right.
Interesting. Okay, so one of the things that you brought up, I took away from that, I forgot your first name.
Mine?
Yeah.
William.
William. So, when you obviously been doing this for a little while, 8 years, and we started talking about exactly what I'm doing, is I'm asking him to diagnose my water heater over the phone. Right, and one of the things he said is, I can't really say without being there.
Yeah.
Right? So same things, guys will say, hey, so I got this thing and it makes this click, click, click sound when I do it, and our answer shouldn't be like, okay, let's go to the furnace, or let's go to the water heater, let's turn off the valves, because then you open up a can of worms type thing, right? So like you said, the best answer is, I can't really do anything unless I see it, right? Same thing for the doctors, we go to the doctors all the time, and the doctors, well now, you can go to the doctor, do like a Skype call if you got the flu or something. But for the most time, is I'm not gonna go have laser LASIK and have the doctor say, like, let's do it over the phone. He's got to come in and look at my eyes, tell me what my procedure is going to be, all this kind of stuff, right? I use that as an extreme example. But the same thing for air conditioning guys is if he's at a plumbing call and they're starting to ask him about the air conditioner, his response is going to be, well, let me get one of my air conditioning guys out here. I'm a trained plumber. I'm water and sewer, right? Those guys know how to move. Let me get William out here, right? Let me get Renard out here to take a look at it. Is that something you guys do or have the ability to
I
do?
did that yesterday, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do
Yeah,
it.
the guy started asking me questions about the AC, and I told him flat out, I said, look, I'm sorry, I honestly don't know. I have no clue what that could be doing. Let me
Capacitor.
get someone out there. Let me get someone out there and
Right.
help you out. And
And-
so sure enough, yeah, he said, you know what, that'd be great, because no one's ever looked at it. So hopefully it turns into a call for
Well, see, that's the thing. It's one of those things that guys are like, they're always afraid of the negatives. Like, oh, you're just trying to sell me. You're just trying to do that. But you get that, oh, I didn't even think about it. That's great. Let me get some out here. And one of the things I've been doing air conditioning for 27 years. I have to think about it for a second. I don't know a single person in the 27 years that I've been doing air conditioning that died because a customer told them no. Right? Or a plumber, or I've had guys yelled at. I've had guys in other companies, not this one, walked out of their house, like saying, if you don't leave my home, I'm going to call the police. Because I feel like you're harassing me, because they're like, come on, you want to buy, you want to buy, you want to buy. Hey, I buy. Oh, no, let me show you this. Right? I've had guys that, have been literally berated, but never died. Right? Never ever died from it. Right? So a lot of people were afraid of the no, like, oh, you're just trying to sell me something. Get out of here. That's a sales pitch. When all the guy was like, that'd be great. Has he gone out there yet? Do you know?
No, it just happened yesterday. But the
Perfect.
guy, the way that the guy was, he was asking me. It wasn't like I was telling him, hey, how's everything else here? How's it going? Show me something. No, I was just like, he just asked me, hey, while you're here, would you mind looking at something? And I said, honestly, I wouldn't even know what to tell you because I don't know anything about that. And again, I was just telling him straight up. I said, I'll call one of my guys. He can come out, take a look for you, and hopefully he can help you out.
It's
So
like
he was
when
very
you
thankful that, I was honest. I wasn't going to go up there and go, oh yeah, you need a new AC unit and vents.
ever go to an orthodontist and go, hey, can you take a look at my feet real quick?
Yeah.
Right? You don't do it, right?
No.
Same type of thing.
Yeah.
So like you do water tests, right? So you guys are both plumbers?
Yeah.
So you guys do water tests, right? How do you guys do the air filtration, William? How do you show someone from the last time that I was here? How do you show someone that they might have an indoor air quality problem, an issue?
Clean wipes is one method.
Okay.
You can show them the accumulation of debris that's been built up in their the vents,
Okay.
the duct box. You can take airflow measurements and
That's a good one.
show them, how the system's performing comparing to its rated capacity.
You ever done that before, or not taking an airflow measurement with a current filter?
Usually just showing filter, customer, that's it.
Morning.
Most common way, but the way you told before, those measurements and then wipes are pretty good.
Mhm.
With soap.
So one of the things that we're doing is, what's your name?
Jesse.
Jesse, how are you, Jesse?
Good, how are you?
What are you, plumber? HVAC?
I was do plumbing, but I kind of just go with them both, to be honest with you.
Okay. So right now, we're just talking about drawing attention to things that, before we talk about water filtration, what causes customers to buy water filtration or have their anode rod replaced or so on and so forth. Anode or anode? Anthony, is it anode?
Anode, yeah.
Anode.
ANODE.
Anode rod replaced. And how replacing that could save you tens of thousands of dollars in damage. I mean, how much does an anode rod cost?
Like $20, $30, something like that.
Rephrase that. If you came to my house to replace my anode.
Oh yeah, about $500, $500.
Right. But to the customer, that's worth thousands of dollars, right? I've done things at my rental home because even though it's not my home, I still want to make sure that nothing catastrophic happens to that house while I'm living in it. It's still going to put me out, right? So for me, I have a clean out, a plumbing clean out that I could not. I would snake it. I did what's it called, a blow bag.
The bladder bag?
Yeah,
Yeah.
bladder. Stuck that sucker in there. Because I know, like here, and just enough to get me in trouble with the plumbing portion of it. But my landlord lives in China, and there's a little bit of a gap, we'll call it, in communication. So, and I know people that own plumbing companies, and I'm like, try this, try that. But at some point, I realized I need to have this thing cameraed, I need to have it snaked, because it's, maybe from, what's your name?
Mike.
Maybe from here to Mike is the sewer, is the curb,
Okay.
right? So I'm not too far away. And he says, you need to clean it, or you might have to have the roots cut and all this kind of stuff. Now I'm thinking, oh man, right? If it was my home, I would have done it already. Because I've been to houses that have had roots going through and back up, and then there's, excuse my French, but there's stuff backing up and causing all kinds of catastrophic damage, right? But there comes to a point where you've held off so long that you have to do that, right? So I wound up doing the blowback thing. That would last for like maybe a week, or the bladder, and then I would do it again for about a week. And then a buddy of mine gave me straight up, I don't know what it is, but it is an enzyme eater or something like that. And it said pour down 2 cups. I poured down the whole gallon of it, and I hadn't had a problem since. Right? But are you a plumber or HVAC?
I do both.
So if you were to come to my house, Mike, and say I can sell you this thing for $150, I would have bought it in a split second. I don't, and even I think that the one I got, they sell at Home Depot for, I don't know, $11. But if you would have told me after going through all the progression and watching him do that, this will solve your problem for $150, so no problem, absolutely no problem anytime. Okay. So when we're talking about the difference between water filtration and air filtration, it's just bringing up the conversation. That's all it is. We're trying to bring up the conversation. So Anthony said something about sticking his hand in there. So if I go to my house tonight and I get a glass of water, or a thing of water, I just fill it up with cold water, hot water,
Just room temperature water.
temperature
cold
water, right? And then just look at it, and if I stick my hand in it and pull my hand out, after how long?
Just a couple minutes.
Like leave my hand in there for 90
Yeah.
seconds?
Yeah, 90 seconds. You get two of them. One with the drop, so it changes color, so you can see you can see actually the chlorine level, and then do the other cup. Just stick your hand in there, and then you'll see
How
the
long do I leave my hand in there?
like just like a minute or two.
Okay.
Yeah, just 90 seconds is
And then when
fine.
I pull it out,
There's
I'll notice a difference in the color of the water.
yes, it won't be yellow no more.
All right. I like that.
That's cool.
It's like I'm going to the manicure place.
Yeah, because your body's like a sponge. It's the biggest organ, that a person has. But you absorb everything in the water, whether it's chlorine, fluoride, whatever the city puts in there, the body absorbs
soaking
it.
it up.
Yeah. So and chlorine is probably one of the worser ones. There's other substitutes, but like England and stuff that they use, but we don't use it here. I'm assuming because people like to sell chlorine here, or the distributor's already set up for chlorine.
Correct. There's something that, yeah, there's a reason for everything. So when it comes, I know you guys do plumbing and HVAC, so if you're doing this plumbing, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the filtration portion of it. So for us, or for air conditioning guys, we do the exact same thing, try to get that customer involvement. One of them is baby wipes. I'll take flushable, biodegradable. Are these good or bad?
They're still bad.
Still bad.
They're not biodegradable. They say that, but they're not really.
They take way too long, even if they do.
Okay. So the only thing that goes down the toilet is toilet paper?
Only toilet paper and feces
And urine.
and urine.
So,
No cat litter.
no. So I would use a baby wipe or whatever and then throw it into the trash.
Gotcha.
And then a Ziploc bag. And I would follow the path the particle, go on before the filter, the return air grill, swipe it, gets it all nice and dirty, put it in the Ziploc bag and you write return on it. Then you go to the blower, now you're past the filter, right? You wipe that, write blower motor on it, and then you go to supply register, take the grill off, or the register off, wipe the inside of the ducts. Now you've gotten a visual, kind of what you're doing with the water, you've got a visual with all three, before, after, and what you're breathing. And I think when I did with you guys last time, most of the time you'll see it, they're all exactly the same. Because the filter is not keeping up with the demand of the home. It's basically what it comes down to. So, one of the things that as air conditioning guys, or hybrid guys, I'll call you, you're like that 5 wood or whatever in your golf bag, a hybrid. The interaction with it and showing the homeowners is key, without being quote unquote salesy or pushy at the same time. You're just kind of showing them. And whether they purchase one of your filters or one of your indoor air quality products or one of your water filtration systems or not, you're still, I think, have an obligation to show them that these things are available. Right? So that's one way to do that. And then have options for them. So what are you guys offering right now, William, for filtration? Let's back up for a second. If I'm a homeowner, and I'm not gonna put you on the spot by stretch of the imagination, we're not gonna do any role playing or anything like that. But if I'm a homeowner and you go into my house and you do an air quality, baby wipe test or whatever, and you show me how dirty my filter is, I say, okay, now what?
I'd like to start offering the IQ Air.
Okay, what are you doing right now?
Right now, our pre-existing customers, they get depleted from HPCs.
How much, that's a pleated MERV 8?
Usually it's a 1-inch Mervate pleated.
Okay, and that's part for your
We don't do
H?
the hog's hair, we don't do any of the
Thank God.
other ones. We do a pleated at a minimum.
Okay, and that's free as part of their HGC?
That is part of the program. If it's a 1 or 2-inch pleated filter, it's included with the service. If it's a 4-inch or a micro power guard or anything like that, then that would be extra.
So the 2 inches is still included?
Usually, yeah. Okay, all included.
And what do you have past that? Because if you come into my home, and you do this test, and you say, okay, this is the filter that we have, is a MERV 8, because you're going in there, every 6 months, hopefully, right?
It's every 6 months.
And that filter is not a 6-month filter.
No, it's a 1-month filter.
So there's
3 months at best.
at best, right? With no animals and
No
Hardwood
animals, never
floors.
using the fan.
hardwood
Clean house.
Hard floor, yeah. So most of the guys are not changing it. Right? So now we're leading to blower motor cleanings and coil cleanings and things like that,
Scrubbers.
right? So having an option for them to say, you know what, this is it, this is what you get, it's completely free. We'll call it this filter, even though it's not it. This is the one it comes with. Then you have an upgraded filter. We'll call it this, right? An IQ Air MERV 16 filter. And or something in between, depending on what the size their cabinet is,
Yeah,
we can go
usually
this.
our next step would be the micro power guard, because
The-
it fits in the 1-inch slot. So
The 1-inch,
1-inch
Right.
micro power guard electrostatic.
and that's a quarter, that needs to be changed 4 times a year, right? So it still leaves you out of the loop, because how many homeowners are gonna go in there in 3 months and change, right? You're like, never. I mean, maybe 1%, right?
I've had a lot more customers go, there's a filter,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then, oh yeah, I just changed that.
And how much does the micro power guard cost?
To the customer.
Correct, to the homeowner.
What does that go for in our system?
225.
I think it's about 1,100
Oh,
with the transformer and,
The step down transformer,
Yeah.
24 volts.
yeah, with the transformer and the rack and all that.
Yeah, and that's still a 1-inch filter. So now you have the free filter that comes with the HPC, right? You have an upgraded filter, a micro power guard or whatever. And then like William said, you know, if you had this type of filter, right? Now, like, I'm trying to make sure I'm not selling this filter. I'm just saying if the more options that you have, when it comes down to it, you know, you'll be my homeowner. The 1-inch filter is not keeping up with the demand of your home because we're not changing it out as much as we should. So I can go back in with that. I can put this filter in for $250. I can put this micro power guard filter in for $1,100. Which one do you want?
250.
Right? And I'm not saying that you're always gonna say that, but we're not saying, do you want one? We're saying, which one do you want? And they could say, I want the free one. Cool. There's no problem with that. And without any negative or any hesitation, you can't go back into and say, well, then I'll come back in 6 months and I'll clean that blower motor for $450. Whatever, you do it, hey, fine, you do whatever you want. I'll see you in 6 months. You're like, cool. All right. And then when you go back in 6 months, you do the exact same procedure that they did the 6 months prior, and you show them the amount of dirt on their blower motor, and you're saying, okay, well, the filter's not keeping up the demand of your home. Now I think we need to take a look at the blower motor and clean it off. Clean the blower motor, right? And then say, okay, which filter do you want me to go back in with? It's a crock pot mentality versus a microwave technology, or microwave turbine, if I'm looking for. Society, like we want it now. I can order something from Amazon before I leave here, and it might be at my house before I get there. We're used to that, right? But in the sales portion of it, and in plumbing as well, you gotta kind of like continue to go over and over and over, use the same processes and the same procedures over and over and over again. So when you go back there in that 6 months, you can have the exact same professional conversation that you had with them 6 months prior and say, okay, now the free filter did this. Now we had to clean. How much does it cost to clean a blower motor? William?
Not quite sure the prices for that here yet.
Somewhere close to $1,000 to $700.
For pulling and cleaning?
No, blower motor cleaning?
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Oh,
pulling and
cleaning?
cleaning.
250, 350.
Yeah, it's between the two.
I thought you were asking to
How long
request.
does it take you to do it?
2 hours?
Hour.
Right, so you're pulling the squirrel cage, right? You're pulling the whole entire thing. And I don't know how you guys feel about it, but every time you take something apart, you put it back together, it's not factory anymore. It's not that same factory condition, right? So you could skip all that and offer them a higher filtration, so they don't have to continue to pull the blower motor every 3 or 4 years or more, right? So it's kind of like those options. Things I like to use the most are the filter is not keeping up the demand of your home, right? Easy, non-aggressive, and have options for them. Which one do you want? This one's free, this one's X, and this one's X. Which one do you want? And let them pick. And 50% of them might pick this one, or we'll say 40% might pick this one, 10% might pick the most expensive one, and the other 50% are gonna pick the free one, or whatever. But you're never gonna get someone to buy a micro power guard. You're never gonna get someone to buy something else unless you offer it to them. And we all know who Steve Jobs is, right? One of my favorite quotes about Steve Jobs is, most of the time people don't know what they want because we haven't shown it to them yet. Right? And he did okay, the whole Apple thing kind of worked out for him. Right?
A little bit.
Anyway, that was.
That's good. Hey, so for Vanguard today, basically since Ryan's not here, he's gonna go with you and Jesse. Well, you probably can't drive with you, obviously, because you guys are it's already 2 in the
I
truck.
should say we're gonna time it up the truck.
But, so for the meter, because Vanguard's has some air quality issues, and even has some mold in some rooms. It's
Server
a
room,
huge place, it'll take you a while. It's, how big is that place?
Big.
I'll put it this way, there's 7 condensers, 6 air handlers that we've found,
And they're Unicos.
Yeah. So we're probably gonna be, I guess the Daikin guy from Gary, I forgot what his name is, but he's gonna be coming on, I think, the 29th or something, and check out all the Daikin systems, because they're having some issues. And probably make some recommendations for upgrading to
What
whatever.
kind of a facility is that?
It's a house.
A house.
You can call it a hotel, but it's a house.
I said it's a big house.
There is a maid and woodworking staff that's pretty much been there since
The beginning.
we were there.
Okay.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's pretty big, so yeah, you'll have plenty of time, plenty of places to go in.
Enjoy the
And,
view.
3-story steel frame, it's fun.
all right, so
Wine
that's
cellar in the
what
back.
we'll have you go today, so that we don't waste your day that was planned to be with our guys since Ryan's out. Then we'll go from there with, we may have to do some training with the other guys later, but if Mike and Jesse kind of get the gist of it as well, while you're out there,
Absolutely.
that's two guys that know how to use it and maybe see the benefits of it, so.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Cool.
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 That theater HVAC is gonna be the first one. That was the one.
All right, and then I know the guys that were digging yesterday was Guillermo.
Kevin?
Okay, so you guys, we're gonna dig over by the sprinklers, and Kevin will talk more about that.
Yes, so,
What's gonna happen?
Sarah called me to meet her up for a water heater.
And talk to Kevin about that.
Okay.
I know he wants that other job done, so that you can talk to him, maybe you can do that first.